joining me for core yoga today. My name is Erica and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If you're new to this class, you can expect us to start with a slow warm-up. We'll start to pick up some speed, build heat in our body as well as our core, especially the core. You'll notice though, as we pick up speed though, there's a repetitive to the movement, and we try to tie that movement in with our breath. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body. Please don't let your ego get in the way of your practice. Take rest if you need to, and always check with the physician before you start a new exercise regimen. With that out of the way, we're going to get started. So come in the standing position at the top of your mat. Your feet should be about hips width distance apart. Stand up nice and tall towards the ceiling, palms facing forward. And begin by taking a few deep breaths. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. Then slowly lift both arms overhead, fingertips facing up towards the ceiling, shoulders relax down the back, tailbone tucks under the ribs and sends long towards the floor. Bend the right elbow, reaching out through left fingertips. Left ribs reaching high to the sky. And then straighten the arm, both arms up. Left elbow bends, reaching high. And we'll switch. So we're going to keep doing this back and forth at our own pace, opening up the shoulders and the sides of the body. Keep your gaze up towards the ceiling and belly active, drawing back towards the spine. Deepen the breath. Finish up whatever side you're on and end with both arms straight overhead. Then bend both elbows, lining them up with the shoulders, and extend back overhead. 2 more times, exhaling as the elbows bend. Inhale to straighten. Last time. Inhale up. And lower arms down by your sides. Bring just the left arm up to the ceiling, right arm stays down. Reach to the fingertips and give me a slight side bend, reaching over to the right side of the room, pressing firmly down through the left foot. Chin lifts from the chest. Take some deep breaths. Let's switch sides. Right arm comes up and add the side bend. Lower arms down by your sides. Take your hands behind your back, grabbing opposite elbows, lifting from the chest, shoulders wrap behind the heart. Step your right foot back to the center of the mat and heel toe the foot out to the outer edge of the mat. So feet are not in one line. Hips face forward, lifting from the chest. Then hinging forward at the hips until chest is parallel to floor into Parsvottanasana. Gaze is down towards the floor, spine is long, belly is drawing in. Try not to lock out the left knee, instead put a micro bend in it. You can even put a deeper bend in it if the leg feels particularly tight. Slowly rise back up to standing and step back into the center of your mat, feet together. Left foot steps to the back of the mat, heel toe the foot out to the outer edge. Shift the hips forward, lift through the chest, and as you exhale, falling forward from the hips, chest parallel to floor. Not only are we lengthening our spines here, but we're getting a nice stretch on the back side of the legs, opening up the legs a little bit. Slowly rise back to standing all the way at the back of the mat, lowering hands down by your sides. Give me a deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms overhead. As we exhale out through the mouth, we fall into forward folds, bending the knees, dropping belly to thighs, letting arms and head hang towards the floor. Shifting the weight towards the balls of the feet, drawing the lower belly in. Rise to half lift, flattening the back. Chest is again parallel to the floor. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Then we'll walk into a plank position, walking our hands down the mat into a traditional plank. Then drop the knees to tabletop. Uncurl the toes, top of the feet to mat, and lift up to the fingertips. Round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest. Then slowly lift and arch the spine into cow, gazing up to ceiling. A few more times at your own pace. Exhaling to round the spine, inhaling to arch. Keep it going. Maybe closing your eyes if it helps you feel more comfortable in your body. Breathing in to arch and exhaling to round. And settle into a neutral tabletop position. Lift your left arm up to the ceiling, and then we'll thread the needle. So I'm passing it through the right side between hand and knee, dropping down to the left shoulder, bringing my cheek down to the mat and relaxing my right arm down by my side. However is more comfortable for the right arm. You can adjust that arm if you need to. Adding a little twist to the belly, still opening the shoulders here. Take some nice deep breaths. Now place your right hand firmly on the floor so you can press yourself back to tabletop. We'll take the other side, right arm comes up, and then thread it through the left, shoulder and face down. Slowly press yourself back to tabletop and lift up to the fingertips. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, keeping heel in line with hip, drawing the belly in, lift out of the shoulders. For a crunch, we're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest, round the spine, draw the belly in, lift the knee as high as we can, and then we'll extend, leg back behind us. Exhale to crunch. Round the spine, lift the knee high, inhale to extend. One more time. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest. This time we'll step the foot into a lunge position, placing ankle right below the knee. You can manually put your foot into alignment if you need to. Lift up to just the pointer and the middle finger, draw the belly in, send the chest forward. Draw the breath in through your nose, lift the right arm up to the ceiling, twisting from your belly in, then the ribs, gaze is up to the ceiling. Exhale out through the mouth, lowering fingertip to the floor. We're gonna do that 2 more times. I want you to really draw the belly in and compress the core. Inhale through the nose, drawing belly in, opening chest. Exhale, right foot stays flat to mat. Last time, drawing the breath in, and exhaling. Extend the right leg behind you, point through the toes, keep the leg active, return to tabletop. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip, draw that belly in. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest. Inhale and extend. Exhale, nice and slow, lift that knee a little higher. Inhale to extend. We're preparing our core for our workout. Last time, knee to chest, lift it nice and high and get the foot into lunge. Draw the belly in, chest sends forward. Breath in through the nose, left arm to ceiling. Exhale out to the mouth, return hand to floor. Breathe in, arm lifts. Exhale, draw that belly in. Last time, arm lifts to ceiling and hands lower to mat. Extend the left leg behind you, point through the toes, then return to tabletop. Plant your hands flat to the mat if they're not already, and bring your elbows down to the mat into puppy pose, palms face down towards the floor. Let the head gently hang. Here's option 1 for your rest period today. Option 2 is to take child's pose. You can settle your hips back towards your heels, keep the knees slightly separated, and rest your forehead to mat. Whichever is most comfortable in your body is the position that I suggest that you take when we take our rest for today. I'll always call the child's pose, but you're more than welcome to take puppy instead. And this is where we finish our warm-up for today. Take advantage of these last moments of stillness before we pick up heat in our body, before we pick up the intensity. Focus on the breath. Take a note how you feel on the inside. Yoga is not just about the outer body, but the inner as well. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position. Lift up to the fingertips and extend your left leg behind you. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot into a lunge position. Tuck your right toes onto the mat so you can lift that knee into the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger, sending the chest forward. Step up to half lift, right foot steps up to meet the left, flattening the back, hands to shins or knees. Lower to forward fold, bend the knees, drop belly to thighs, arms and head hang heavy. Then one vertebrae at a time, we'll rise up to a standing position. Leave your chin tucked to your chest until you make it all the way to standing. Once you're up, give me a nice deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms overhead, gazing up to ceiling. Then exhale out through the mouth, lowering your gaze and dropping your hands down by your side. So now we're going to start to pick up the intensity like I promised. Hopefully you guys find a little bit of fun like I do as we're putting work in our body. So every week we have a new plank sequence. I demo them first and then we work to tie them into the practice. So I'm going to demo this first time. Just watch me this time through. You can think about any adjustments you'll need to make, and then we'll take it together as a class. We're going to skip high planks for today, and we're going to start in a forearm plank. So in a forearm plank, elbows stacked under shoulders, heels in line with hips, in line with shoulders. Check back your alignment, even if you've done it a million times. We don't want hips up here. We don't want hips down here. Nice and in alignment. We're going to turn our fists to face one another. So just in case you can't see, my hands are going to be stacked like this. Not on top of one another, but side by side so they're both along the floor. I always give a countdown when we're going to start our plank sequence. So I'll say something like, we're starting our plank sequence in 3, 2, 1, and then we'll start. We're going to take a side plank. So we're going to rock over on our feet so we can shift to one side. So both of my feet are on the floor. I'm on one side of just my arm. You can keep your fingertips to the floor, or you can keep it up to the ceiling. Up high is a little harder. We're going to lower the hips. We're going to lift the hips. We're going to come back to forearm plank. Walk the toes in, walk the toes out, and turn to the opposite side. Lower hips, lift them high, back to plank, and we'll hold it here for 5 seconds. So just so you guys can see that in real time, I'll say we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lower hips, lift hips, back to plank. Walk in, walk out, side plank, lift hips, lower hips, back to plank, and hold for 5. Then from there, we'll release to our bellies and we'll carry on. If that feels difficult to you after you try the first time through, you're more than welcome to just hold your forearm plank steady. You can skip a side plank. You can skip walking the feet in. Adjust it how you need, but try the first time through just to get a feel in it. So let's start at the top of the mat. Let's get started. Maybe give me some shoulder rolls, get out any jitters or anxiousness you might have about the class, about the plank sequence. Take a nice deep breath and then find stillness at the top of your mat. Slowly lift the arms overhead, gaze up to the ceiling, and lower to forward fold, drop belly to thighs. Rise, half lift, flatten the back, hands to shins. Then step back into a plank position and lower to our forearm plank with fists facing the elbows. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lift the hips and lower back to plank. Step toes in, step toes out, side plank. Lift the hips, lower the hips, plank. Holding for 5, 3, 2, 1. Lower to the belly. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows up to the ceiling and legs together. Lift the chest for baby cobra, shoulders wrap behind the heart. Don't press into the hands. And then we'll take a rest period in child's, hips to heels, or puppy pose, whatever feels best. Take just a breath or two here. Rise back to a tabletop position and lift up to the fingertips. Extend your right leg behind you, give me a crunch into chest, and step the foot into lunge. Left toes tuck onto the mat and knee lifts in the air. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to folds, belly to thighs. Then rise up to standing, nice and slow. Take your time. We're going to take that 2 more times through. Lifting the arms overhead, looking up to ceiling. Lower to fold, belly comes down to thighs. Rise, half lift, and step back into plank before lowering down to forearm plank. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lift and lower. Come back to plank. Step feet in and out. Side plank, lift and lower. Come back to plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Hands under shoulders and elbows up to ceiling. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale to your rest period, child's or puppy. Take a moment of breath here, a moment of stillness. Do a mental check-in. How are you feeling? Remember that you can adjust your practice to fit your needs. Slowly rise back to tabletop and lift up to the fingertips. Extend your left leg behind you. Give me a crunch into chest and step into lunge. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to folds, belly to thighs. And slowly rise up to standing. Last time through, inhale to lift the arms up. Exhale to lower, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank and lower down to forearm plank. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lift and lower. Forearm plank. Feet in, feet out. Side plank. Lift and lower. Forearm plank. Holding for 5. We got it. Last time through for now. Don't hold the breath and release. Hands under shoulders. Lift the chest to breathe in. And exhale to child's, hips to heels. We want to keep our heart rate up, so we're going to slowly rise right back to tabletop. We'll have another rest soon. Lift up to the fingertips. Extend your right leg behind you. Give me a crunch, knee to chest. We're moving right through. Step that foot into lunge. We'll slowly step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly rise up to standing. Left arm comes up to the ceiling. Reach through those fingertips and take a side bend. If you want to add a little intensity to your core, lift the right arm up too, so both arms are framing the ears. Chin is lifted from the chest. Core is active. Use your inhale to rise up to the ceiling and lower arms down by your sides. Right arm comes up. Reach to those fingertips before you take the side bend. Lifting the free arm if you did so on the opposite side. Nice deep breaths. Inhale to lift the ceiling and exhale to forward fold. Belly comes down to the thighs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step into plank and then drop the knees to tabletop. So knees on the mat. Lift up to your fingertips. Extend your left leg behind you. Point through the toes. Keep that leg active for me. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest. Inhale to extend 2 more times. Exhale to crunch. Lift that knee a little higher. Inhale. Exhale to crunch. Hold here. We're going to hold for 5 seconds. Don't hold your breath, but keep that knee lifting nice and high and step the foot into lunge. Good job. Right toe stuck onto the mat. We're going to lift that knee into the air, lifting up to pointer, middle finger. 2 options to get to Anjaneyasana. If you're challenging your balance, try lifting the arms straight overhead. If you need some help, you feel a little wobbly, take hands to thighs first, and then get the arms up. Either way, we're getting to the same spot. Doesn't matter how you get there. Left knee stacked right over the ankle. We're on the ball of the right foot. Take some slow, deep breaths into the chest. Then open up to warrior 3, opening to face the right side of your mat. Right heel makes contact with the mat, arms lower to shoulder height. Left foot's facing forward, front of the mat. Right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Shoulders and hips facing the long edge as well. Nice, strong warrior. Sit lower in those hips, but keep the knees stacked over the ankle. Now lower left elbow down to the thigh and extend your right arm up to protect the ear. Side angle. We're going to come back to warrior 2 and find a reverse warrior. Right hand falls down, left arm up, and we'll straighten the leg just for a break. Come back to warrior 2. We're going to take that 2 more times in a nice fluid movement. Exhale to side angle, elbow comes down, right arm frames the ear. Inhale to warrior 2 and into reverse warrior, straightening the leg. Drawing belly in. Exhale, back to side angle. Inhale. Reverse. Then come back to warrior 2. If you can't draw the breath out that long, that's okay. We're going to windmill the arms down to a lunge position, lifting off the right heel, fingertips to floor. Step back into plank, lower to forearm plank, and we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lift and lower. Forearm plank. Step feet in, step foot out, side plank, lift and lower. Forearm plank, holding for 5. Holding here, and release. Hands under shoulders. Inhale to lift the chest, and exhale to child's. Here's your rest. Deepen the breath. Do a mental check-in. Make note that we only have 2 more plank sequences we have to get through. We completely got it. Tell your body it's doing great. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position and lift up to the fingertips. Extend left leg behind you. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, and step through into lunge. Lift up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly rise up to standing, 1 vertebrae at a time. Breath in through the nose, arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten your back. Exhale as you step back into plank and drop the knees to tabletop. Lift up to the fingertips and extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, keeping that leg active for me. Give me a crunch on the exhale, knee to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last time, knee to chest, hold it here. Don't hold the breath. Keep that knee nice and high and step the foot into lunge. Left knee lifts off the mat. And we'll lift the arms overhead to Anjaneyasana, taking them to the thigh first if you need a little support. We're going to hold it here. Deep breaths into the chest. Open to the left side of the mat into warrior two. Left heel comes down and arms at shoulder height. We'll exhale to side angle. Elbow comes down and left arm up. Draw the breath in to reverse warrior. Straighten that forward leg. Give it a rest. Back to side angle. Knee bends. Elbow comes down. Reverse warrior. Straighten the leg as you go. Last time, exhaling into side bend, drawing the belly in. Inhale to reverse the flip. And return to warrior two. Windmill the arms down into lunge. Step back into plank. Lower to forearm plank. We've only got one more after this. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Side angle. Lift and lower. Back to plank. Step toes in. Step them out. Side plank. Lift and lower. Forearm plank. And we're holding for 5. We've got it. And release. Hands under shoulders. Inhale to lift the chest. And exhale to child's. Take your rest here. Deepen the breath. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch into lunge and step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, rising to a standing position. Give me some shoulder rolls, help open the chest. Then take it the opposite direction. And stand up nice and tall. Take your hands to your heart. Lower your chin towards your chest and gaze down towards the floor. Take a moment to feel your heartbeat. And lower arms down by your sides. We're going to move into everybody's favorite chair pose. If you've never taken it before, it'll become a quick favorite fast, I promise. So your feet are hips width distance apart. We'll start by lifting our arms overhead. Maybe palms about forehead height to start. Then we'll sit our hips back like we're taking a seat in an imaginary chair and try to refrain from tilting the tailbone up. You want to round it under and send it towards the floor. Hips down and arms and chest up. Look down towards your feet. You want to see your toes. If you can't, send those knees back. Weights in the heels. We're going to hold here, keeping our belly drawing in, but we're not holding our back breath. And then we'll release to forward fold. Belly comes down, arms and head hang heavy. You can gently shift side to side, keeping low belly drawing in. I was definitely not telling the truth when I said it would become a quick favorite. If you enjoyed that pose, you are absolutely a boss because it's tough. Let's slowly rise to half lift, flatten the back. and step back into plank. Here comes our last set of plank work here. We've made it this far, we can continue. Come down to your forearm plank, last one. Keep telling yourself that. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Side plank, lift and lower, forearm plank. Step in, step out, side plank, lift and lower, forearm plank. We hold our last one for 15 seconds. If you're completely pooped, you're more than welcome to lie down now. Otherwise, we're holding here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. This time, bring your arms along the sides of your body. Turn your head so you can rest on your cheek. Make sure palms are face up towards the ceiling. And then just completely let go onto your mat. There's nothing to do in this moment, absolutely nothing, other than to give your body and your mind a rest. Close the eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And let your body melt onto the mat. And slowly turn your head to the opposite side. Bring your chin to the mat and your arms underneath your head, just sort of support like a pillow. Then bend the knees and gently let them windshield wipers side to side, nice and slow. Just breaking up any tension we might have built in our low backs. Then lowering the legs down to the floor, placing hands under the shoulders so we can press into a rounded child's pose. This time arms come along the sides, shoulders melt down towards the floor, forehead rests on the mat. Remembering that you can always take puppy pose if that's comfortable in your body. And slowly rise up to a seated position. Swing the legs around front so they're down the length of your mat and you're flat on your sits bones, feet flexed. Find some length through your spine and lift the arms overhead. Drop chin to chest, then round the spine into a rounded back stretch, lowering hands down to the knees, pointing elbows out to the side like elephant ears. Relax your shoulders away from the ears, press them down the back. Take some deep breaths. Now slowly start to lift the spine upright into staff pose, placing hands on either sides of your hips and lengthening out through the crown of your head towards the ceiling before you relax into a neutral spine. Bend your right knee and place your foot on the mat. Use your left arm to hold on to the bent knee. Twist from the belly, then the ribs, finally the chest into spinal twist. Placing the free hand directly behind you and gazing to the back of the room. Keep that left foot flexed. Slowly unwind, facing back towards the front of your mat, then straighten the leg. Left knee bends, holding on with the right arm, twisting, opening the belly and the chest right into spinal twist. Slowly unwind and return to center, straightening the leg. Make sure you're sitting in the center of the mat if you're not already. Both knees bent and feet flat to the mat. Place your hands on the back sides of your thighs, lift up to the tips of the toes, and walk them in closer to the body. The closer the feet come, the more I want you to lift the chest and find length towards the ceiling. This is option one. You should start to feel some engagement in your core as the toes come close to the body. Option two is to float the feet off the mat, heels in line with knees into Navasana, holding here. Lifting through the chest, shoulders away from the ears, breathing. If you still want to kick it up a notch, you can lift the arms out at your sides, palms face up. Whichever position you're in, we're breathing steadily, our chest stays lifted. Maybe put a smile on your face for just a second. If the feet were raised, we'll lower them down to the mat and we'll walk the feet back out into a comfortable position. One vertebrae at a time, we'll round our spines until we're flat on our back. Straighten the legs onto the mat. And just take a moment of stillness here with your body as we slow down our practice, as we're nearing the end of our practice. We want our bodies to get comfortable with stillness. Comfortable just being with ourselves, and sometimes that may not feel the most comfortable. Go ahead and draw your right knee in towards your chest, flex your feet. Interlace your fingers and hold below the knee, pulling thigh close to the body. If you feel any discomfort on your knee, then place your hands on the back of the thigh instead. We'll take a few breaths here in Apanasana. If you'd like to open the hip a little bit, draw the knee out towards the right armpit, still keeping thigh close to body. And gently release your hold, returning the leg to return to the mat. Left knee draws in, feet flexed, holding below the knee or on the back of the thigh. Opening the hip, if you did so on the opposite side, knee towards armpit. And release, leg returns to the mat. Draw both knees in towards the chest, holding on to the same spot, feet side by side. Thighs close to body. Maybe rock gently side to side, helping to massage the muscles along the back. And hold on to the back side of the thighs if you're not holding there already, and extend the legs straight up to the ceiling. We'll take an inversion here. Try to line the heels up over the hips.
this feels like too much work in the body to keep the legs upright, even holding onto the back and the thighs, you can bend the knees, drawing them a little closer to the body, keeping the heels elevated. And still getting the same benefits of the inversion, just one's a little more comfortable than the other. We'll stay for about another 20 seconds or so here, just helping to calm the nervous system. We can slow down our bodies, but sometimes it's not so easy to calm down what's going on the inside. And this pose is great for that. Focus on your breath. And draw your knees completely in towards your chest, lowering heels down towards your glutes. Place your arms along the floor at shoulder height, palms face up, and let your knees fall into a reclined spinal twist over to the right, all the way down as far as they'll let you go. If you feel any pinching in the back here, I want you to lower your knees away from the face. If you want a little more deep of a stretch, bring those knees up a little closer. Heads turn to the left. Lift the knees back to center, let them fall over to the left, making adjustments with your knees as you see fit, and turn your head to the right. This is our last pose before our final resting pose. I suggest closing the eyes now if they're not closed already. Draw your knees back to the center of your chest. Wrap your arms around the legs, pulling them close to the body. Lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, holding at the top. Squeeze everything nice and tight, muscles in your fingers, your toes, your face, your legs, your arms. And as you exhale out through your mouth, release your grip to lay flat on the mat. Spread your arms and your legs nice and wide. Let toes fall out. Turn palms face up towards the ceiling. Take another deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale out through the mouth, relax your body onto the floor. Release any tension in your brow. And one last time, bring the focus back to your breath. Following each rise and fall of your chest. Giving your body a moment of rest and space to be with your thoughts. If this is your first time, I'll let you know when it's time to rise.
Begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back into your body. Now gently roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side. You can use your arm as a pillow to support your head. Just take a moment here. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, press yourself up to a seated position. Any comfortable seated position will do. As always, to end class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. We've done it all class. Now we're going to do it together. Today we're going to take a 3-part breath. So we'll break the inhale up into 3 parts, filling belly, ribs, then chest. We exhale in 3 parts as well, exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. So in a reverse direction. Let's all start on an exhale. So release all the breath you have out of the body. Breathing in through the nose, filling belly first, then ribs, filling the chest, exhaling chest, exhaling ribs, exhaling belly. Again, breath into the belly, to ribs, to chest, exhale chest, ribs, then belly. Last time, breathing into the belly, breathing into ribs, filling up the chest, and slowly exhaling from the chest, releasing the ribs, finishing with the belly. Take a second to thank your body and your mind for getting you through practice today. And I'd like to thank you for practicing with me today. There is a light within me that honors the light within you. So if you got through today's class, you guys are champs. I know there was a lot going on in our plank sequence, a lot more steps than there usually are. So thanks for holding on with me. You guys did it. We're amazing. We feel good, even if we're a little bit tired. If you enjoyed this class, I teach this style every Wednesday at 8 a.m. A new class airs. You can watch it at any time that works for you. If you like something a little less demanding on the body, but still a great overall stretch, body and mind work, you're more than welcome to take my Vinyasa class that airs every Monday at 8 a.m. Don't forget to follow UMBC Rec on Instagram to keep up with all of our content. We've got dozens of classes to take, not just yoga. And you can also follow us on our YouTube page at UMBC Rec TV. Thanks so much. Hope to see you guys next time.